Oh, he's disappeared. Oh, because he's producing. Okay. That. Wow. All right. Let's just get into it. If people join, people join.
Let's do it.
All right. Polish time.
All right.
Fire it up.
Oh, okay.
Screen
It's all
share.
me.
Yeah, it's
all
all
right.
good.
Do you want to give like a brief overview of what we're doing here?
Well, nobody's in here yet, so I think
Alright.
people know. They'll put it in the link, and we'll just.
Well, there's gonna be recording, you know.
Okay, if you're watching this on a recording, we're doing some polish on the mobile app. We're putting out a release sooner than later. I think Monday is the actual plan, and we're doing some sort of last minute polish here on everything from transitions to tap targets to finding any little things that may have slipped through the cracks. So yeah, if you're watching this, then you'll get a little sneak peek of that.
All right, everybody.
Share the screen. Let's fire this up.
So let's go into it. I think, you know, one of the best things for us to do is just kind of show how everything works together, and to really set that up for success, we're going to go ahead and talk about like what it is that we use to actually build. So here on the left side, I've got my simulator, which is just, you know, iOS 13, sorry, an iPhone 13 using iOS 15. And then on the right side, I've got my code editor. Down here, we can see a little bit of what's going on in the background, and that we're actually building things up so that the simulator can run. For our mobile application, we use a platform called React Native. You can say platform, you can say framework, they're kind of interchangeable. But it's a really great way to go ahead and build out for both iOS and Android with sort of the same code base. And basically it gives us everything that we need in a very simple form. That being said, there's great tools within that ecosystem for security and aesthetics and just general like usability. So really we kind of are able to do a lot of work in a little bit of time using this one code base. Anyway, this is still building for the time being. As Ben said, we've got a mobile release, which has been sort of a long time coming. Typically, we have a release that goes out every week or every other week. Small updates or little improvements or like a new smaller feature. Ben and I decided to go ahead and take some time off, and really we work the way that we want users to envision DIMO and sort of like the, I don't know, what's in it for them when it comes to people using the DIMO app. This is much more than just a typical Web3 project. This is really what we want to do is we want to set the standard for what people think about when they think about what a connected vehicle looks like on the device, on a mobile application. So for those of you who have never seen this before, I think this is going to be a real treat. For those of you who have seen stuff like this before, or have seen some of the other stuff that we've teased out, we're going to just get into it and make it even a better experience for users. All right. So this is loading up right now.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, it takes a little bit. I promise I have a fast computer. It's just a lot going on here, which may be a good thing. Consider that we have a lot.
All right, there we go.
All right. Oh, something like that. Oh, you know what? Wrong log. Go ahead. Log out. Doesn't matter. And all right, my count. Cool, and we are in. Now, with all good things, we're going to go ahead and just create a new branch, so that way any of the work that we're going to do is just going to be kind of put in a little sandbox, and then it's up to us if we want to commit it later on or not, which I can tell you right now, we are going to commit it, but good to know. All right, Mr. Benjamin.
All right.
What do you want to do? I know that, let's talk about like what it is that we want to polish up specifically in terms of like the onboarding.
Well, it's more or less onboarding and more like I've gotten a bunch of feedback from putting this in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the one I want to tackle first is tap target size. So
Let's do that.
we're running into this, if you start in more top right, I'm not sure what size we got going there, but if we can bump it up.
So we've actually got a fix that I've recently implemented.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and talk about what that means. So whenever we deal with buttons within React Native, there's a primitive that they give you that's called the Touchable Opacity. And we can kind of talk a little bit more about the specifics there, but you should kind of know that this is like one of those things that when you tap it on the screen, it slightly goes more opaque just to give a visual feedback to the user. And that's like the main purpose there. And it's got a bunch of little like sort of configurables that go. One of the things that we're going to do today is use a configurable called hit slop. And it means that like, hey, we've got our actual element on the screen, which is this button here and this button here. And that takes, you know, some sort of like X width and some Y height. What we're going to do with this hit slop is just going to go outside of that to increase the tap target. The idea being that like, as a user, you might be really frustrated if you tap somewhere and thinking that you should see some sort of reaction and then nothing happens. Because that could mean that something's not working or that it's just really slow or just ultimately that you missed it. Regardless, it's frustrating. So by using this hit slop, it's an easy way for us to go ahead and extend the bounds of the actual dimensions of this thing. And what we've done here is we've actually said, okay, go ahead and increase like our tap target by 12 pixels on the top side and 12 pixels on the bottom side to go ahead and give us more. So I'm going to tap right here, and we can see that that's going to open up our menu. And so we're totally outside of this tap target visually, but that hit slop is going to give us that extended reach. Same thing here. Nope. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, you can already tap all the way out there. That should be a big enough tap target. The reason why we're not doing it on the width side as well is just because it's already a set width of 40. But we can. Let's go ahead and look at what that would be. And that's going to be here. We're just going to say left. Let's go and give it another 8, and right another 8. Let's copy that down here. And now we can kind of go all the way out here and still hit our target. Here and get our target. So it's really going to make it so that like we have a bunch of area around that whole thing that a person can kind of like miss and still be able to hit what they're intending to do. Now, one of the reasons you might be asking, like, why don't we just extend this to be a major tap target, is that we don't want this to conflict with anything else. Like at this point, there's really nothing there, but if you're too generous, you might just sort of conflict with other things, and then in that case, you have to deal with the ramifications there. So it's always best to start kind of more conservatively and then go from there.
Let me know when you're ready. I got more.
You got more? Okay.
I got
well, that was
more.
an easy one.
That
so.
was an easy one. I got plenty more. We're
All
gonna
right.
ignore all of like this that we need to break this out.
Sure.
Whatever. Okay. Let's go to vehicle preferences.
Okay.
Because that is one. This is one where I'm finding a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to replicate. Sorry for everybody who I have to show him in real life. If I enable, can I do my Face ID?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not doing it now. When I was doing it, it was pulling the, oh, actually this one's already enabled. Here, it was this.
Mm-hmm.
If I do commands, it was pulling up the keyboard also, and the keyboard was stuck. I think the way I can replicate it is if I do this, if I tap this, and then I go into vehicle commands. Well, okay, it's not doing it now, but it was pulling up the keyboard. Now it's pulling up the keyboard, and it's covering the actual, like, the interactivity. It's basically, if I go into it, I'm trying to edit the name while I'm trying to do the commands at the same time, so we need to probably lock everything.
Yep.
And
So-
we have the wrong font in.
Let's do the font
in the name.
first.
Yeah.
I know you're upset about the font.
I am upset about the font. It needs to be the right font.
All right.
Sue me.
So let's go into here. This is name this vehicle. I'm gonna do a quick search.
Who is MC Ride? Dylan. Okay, there we go. Of course it is.
All right, what do you want here? So we've
The same
got
font.
what size font? Give me like the actual.
Exact same as is below.
Use the vehicle ID as image.
Yep.
Okay. This is T2, T2, 16, 22.
Okay, I have a running list going here.
I'm sure you do.
You know what?
And then that's medium, so that's gonna be that. Alright. Let's go back in there with that refresh. And why is it not giving me that? This is a fun one.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to put this as div because for some reason it doesn't want to
It's fine, yeah.
acknowledge us.
Okay. And that scan text thing is the other thing. That's super weird.
One more try. No, it's just upset at me. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Okay.
Oh. It's because I'm not in the right area. That's my fault. Give me a second, actually.
Okay. I'm just going through the rest of these. Yeah, there's a lot of increased back arrow tap target on some of the lower level stuff, like this screen here, like vehicle connections. I think you're probably using the same component, and I think we just need to up the whole thing.
Okay, so look at this now.
Yep.
Here's,
I'm looking at
is that a good size? That's like the
it. Is it the
16?
same as below?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same color as used vehicle ID as image because it's just a placeholder.
Yeah, but that's I think slightly darkened because it's
Right, but this is when you tap into it, it should be white when you start typing it, but the name this vehicle is just a placeholder text, so we can do it as the same color as use the vehicle ID as image. See what I mean?
there you go.
Yeah, so when you tap into it, when you actually start typing, the text you type should be white.
Yep. It's gonna be there.
Awesome. Okay. While we're on this, increase the tap target size of the back arrow.
I think I've already done that actually. Let me see here. We've got our back arrow there. Vehicle.
Shaolin, you can hear us, right? Okay.
Go
We're
ahead.
working, man. We're working. We're not just putting on a show.
I know, we gotta do some juggling or something,
I
just
know,
to make
right?
it more entertaining.
No, right?
I think it's just like, let's take a second here, and I know we've done a bunch of little work, but let's talk about like why you find fonts and stuff like that so important, so people understand like why like the consistency there, like is a big part of the aesthetics and like just overall lends to the user experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's, we sort of, everything that we do, especially within this product, needs to meet sort of the same standard and our sort of brand standards. And if we're swapping out fonts or we're using like a system font instead of our font, then, I mean, to me or somebody who is as picky as me, I'm gonna look at us. I'm just gonna look at this sort of thing, and it looks more like amateur to me, or it looks less polished. And
Yep.
it's sort of, it's like having a really nice car where like you have mismatched stitching on it, or it's like you're not paying attention to the details. So it's not to say that you're not. This ain't like this stuff happens, but that's why we're going through and we do stuff like this to catch it as much as we can.
Yeah, and I think like, it gets, part of the thing that makes, developing a mobile application so, I would say, not necessarily difficult, but so tedious, is that you really have to think about all these edge cases that a user might come into. Like, a person might edit their nickname once, and we still have to treat that one time that they're gonna do that over the entire period of their like usage of DIMO is still as crucial as something that they're gonna do every day with it. And you can imagine it just takes a lot of time, especially when you think about like how many nooks and crannies there are in the system. Everything to the fact that like when you hit this delete vehicle, we don't just automatically jump into that, although that would be a lot easier, but we go ahead and we pop up some sort of explainer and really kind of get that confirmation. We go that extra distance to make sure that people really like are able to follow the intention, what they want to do with the app. Intention is something that I think we'll talk a lot of times because, as developer and designer here, like it's our goal to really make sure like we foster like the right intention with our users. Like we don't sort of lead them astray. We also get them to where they want to go really quickly and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get into this like one thing here. We have our vehicle preference. As like a developer tool to make our lives much easier is we've built out like a reusable component. Here we talk about that a couple of times. If you don't know what reusable component means, it means just something that like we've built the framework for it once, we can drop it in anywhere. But we have this reusable component that opens up this tray, very much like what I just showed here. We want to go ahead and edit this whole mechanism to kind of alleviate that spot or that pain point that Ben just highlighted, where if you have the keyboard opened and then you do something else, we want to make sure the keyboard is removed. So let me go ahead and go to the actual definition here, and we're going to add in a little bit of a catch-all in case it happens. And we're going to say something like, I'm going to show you what this means here in a second.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna put I've got a running list going of stuff that we want to tackle here.
Can't wait till we get into the designer stuff. It's way interesting, way more interesting than just seeing a bunch of code.
Yeah, but this is like the ugly, we need to get this done to actually ship this thing out, so not really a lot of options on that.
So what I've done here, I'm just going to explain this real quick, and I'll even add in some text. So first of all, this thing is going to capture what are known as lifecycle hooks. So we need sort of like a domain of this component. There's different things from everything from like the thing first initializing to actually being torn down. But we can also say like whenever there's like a special event, go ahead and then like activate. And we're actually saying that like whenever we get the signal that we should show the tray, I want to go ahead and say if that's true, we just want to dismiss the keyboard. So we're going to write ourselves a little note. Should I move it up here? If we show the tray, make sure that a keyboard is dismissed. And we can do that simply with this function. Now it's easy to go ahead and just call this function, but what they do in the background is just check to see if the keyboard is open or not. So we can just call the one function, they're going to take care of all the work for us. So now let's go ahead and check this out. I'll go here, I'll go edit, I'm going to use the simulator, and then we're going to go ahead and say keyboard, show me that soft keyboard. And then let's go here. Well, it doesn't do the time because I already have it active. But I feel pretty good about the situation where somebody wants to go ahead and remove that. We'll see. Oh. Okay, maybe it did not work as expected.
Okay,
So,
it happens.
to do, error, handle this.
If it's any consolation, Dylan's learning a lot. in the
Yeah?
chat. Yeah.
Oh, God. For those of you who don't know, Dylan is our back-end designer or back-end engineer.
Dylan's a designer too.
Yeah, he is. He's got some good designs. A lot of great comments too. So thank you, Dylan, for tuning in.
All right, let's keep moving.
Hey, you ready for more stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you also want to build an animation after this?
Let's try it. I'll do my best.
I mean, being live on camera is a lot of pressure, you
Yeah,
know?
I know. Okay, let's get into. I've got a couple more things here. If we go into our glove box,
Okay.
I'm doing it for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dachshund. This is fully, our title registration and insurance are full, but we're stuck on two
Okay. Let's figure it out.
on the banner, so people can't see what I'm showing. This is a bug we're finding where if you've these sort of bubbles to sort of start adding your documents, this purple and this light blue, they're meant to sort of follow the progress of actually adding those documents. Once you've added them, then the prompt will go away because you've done what we wanted you to do. We're finding a bug here where title registration and insurance are all uploaded into the glove box here, but we're stuck on two of our bars being full. And we're not sure exactly why. So actually, if you switch to this guy,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to replicate that probably.
All right, let me think about it here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and put up some nonsense for the time being. So let me go and I'm gonna start this whole thing. I'm gonna add a title on my camera roll. We're gonna add in this first image. It's gonna go in the background, that's okay. Let's go ahead and give this a second to upload. Cool, we've got one. We know that one is working. Let's go ahead and do the next.
If this doesn't come through on this, but it does on my phone, I'm gonna be really annoyed.
We'll see. I don't know. We definitely don't want inconsistency. I'm already seeing something weird right now, where it's like I just did title registration, but insurance has come up as one document, which just isn't true. Let's see what's going on there.
That might be what it is, because if I look at, this is the exact same thing I'm looking at, where I have thumbnails for title and registration, but insurance is still the placeholder.
Yeah, and I see that this is actually referencing title documents. Nothing yet. All right.
There
Let me
we
see
go.
your thing real
No,
quick.
mine was doing the same thing. They thought it was that.
There we have it. I fixed
All right.
something today.
Well, hey, do an insurance one and see if this behaves how it should.
I feel pretty good about this.
Well, let's try it out.
One thing you guys will notice for anyone here who does any development or is thinking about getting into it is that kind of sucks. Every line of code does matter, and you can have a tiny bug where, hey, I referenced the wrong variable here, and turns out it totally threw off the user experience. Just the name of the game. I wish there was an easy way there. But part of what you
Hell
do in
yeah.
these situations is like you just test and you retest, and ultimately you'll uncover like small little things that just
Bug
you can
fixing.
fix. Yeah,
Good
2
stuff.
minutes.
All right, two more things on this screen.
More?
Make the back arrow tap target bigger.
Same.
Same.
It was a reusable component.
So it's
We're
done.
there.
Okay.
We're done.
Is
One and done.
the plus is the add on the right side tap target the same size?
Probably not.
Alright,
Probably. If I'm being honest.
So let's do that.
Yeah, if I'm
Let's
being-
also do it on the tray itself when you actually go in to add something on the tray. Sorry, bud. I don't make the rules.
All right. So I'm going to go into this tap target here, and we can see that I've already updated this hit slot. I'm going to actually grab this, come back to here, and have a custom component that we're passing in, which is our plus right here. I don't know if that makes a ton of sense, but we're just gonna go ahead and add our hit slot there, and now we should have a bunch of wiggle room. Additionally, we have a tray that's down here for this category with a back button, and we're gonna do the same thing here. So let's see, this, we're gonna say insurance, and boom.
Done. Sick. All right.
We've got it.
Move on.
Moving
Let's go.
on.
I'm crossing these things out
All right.
as we go. I'm just deleting them off of my list.
Can we just talk about how pretty this little like this whole screen is? Just like the feng shui.
Good job, Ben. Okay, get me to, all right, so we addressed stuck on 2 progress indicators, gone, increase the chat targets, gone. I have nothing more on glove box.
Good. I was it anyway.
Connections, I had increased back arrow tap target, but it's reusable component, so
Yep.
done. There's a bucket of things that I want to get into on vehicle ID, which are not there. It's gonna be similar.
All right, let's go there. Let's see if this one already has it minted. Okay.
That one
so,
has not minted. Okay. We've got go back in the top left. Our convention though is to just use the back arrow now. We'll move to that. So if we could get rid of go back and go to just a back arrow.
You would. All right. Composer / start. Oops.
And it should be the same tab target size.
Why would it be any different?
I'm just saying, man.
All right. Let's see. So we've got our back button. All right. Our label is that. Let's go into the definition here. Let's go ahead and make sure.
We have pyramids. It's like every day there's new art that gets added into here.
Hey, we're trying to make it interesting.
I know. Okay, good stuff.
Let's go ahead and grab this thing. I'm gonna just try that. This is like a little bit blunt. We might deviate from that.
That's fine.
That's pretty
Do we have
good.
swipe back on this?
Yeah, so we do have swipe back on a lot of things. So like if you, the way that works is we have like what's called navigation. So we won't ever have swipe from one tab to another. But when things like compound, like they go from one into another, we will have swipe back. So
Sweet.
if we actually look at that, let's go here to our vehicle ID, and we can see that I can start to swipe that back.
Awesome. On this screen still, we have the question mark on add your card to your wallet, which over to the right, that icon to the right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're currently using it. That was a spot I put in there in case we wanted to like another bit of info. So let's just hide that for now.
Let's do it.
And then let's add a little bit of spacing between that header, that add your car, claim your spot, and the list items, the block below them.
All right, let's get rid of that. And then you want space below.
Yeah, right here. Like this, increase this space.
Yep.
Right here.
More.
Little more.
Cool.
Ship it. Okay. I'll cross those off my list. Hide question mark. We need to go into the actual customizer.
Get started.
Let's get started. Okay, we're missing 2 icons in here. Do you want to do that offline?
We're gonna do that offline because we have
Okay.
to do some. It's gonna be tricky. A little
Okay.
tricky, not so much.
All
We'll
right.
get it. Let me go ahead and put it in do for myself there, though.
Okay. Something into is we may want to add a bar to the top, like a sort of opaque bar up to the top. Like depending on the background that you have, you really can't see the controls, like the Sally 3 and all of that.
I had that somewhere. I don't
Yeah.
know where I lost it actually.
Okay, because I want to put that in there. Can you go and shuffle so we can actually see those buttons?
Yeah. So, man, I gotta find what because I actually put like a 1% like background and
Yeah.
it did the trick
Weird.
and it's gone. So I will find it.
Just throw, once you're done with this, throw a shuffle on there so we can get it to a dark background. There we go. Okay.
To do, let's go ahead and update icons for real kit or extras.
Yeah. Yeah, you're using the same. Are you using the same component here for the go back?
I need to just remove the go back.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Just remove the go back.
All right. View /
And then
done.
there's another question mark up there which we're not using. So let's
We're not
just
using that?
nope.
No.
So let's scrap that.
Let's get rid of it.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, let's make a note to go through and add the 1% background because that it does get lost. We're gonna, when we go,
Let's just do that now.
okay,
Because I know I did it, and now I kind of upset myself for not having it. So we're gonna do it. This is a good one to test it out on. So instead of like just positioning it there, we're gonna remove all that, and we're going to go ahead and first go into our colors. We have our slight white drop, or slight black drop. Here it is. I think I can do this really quickly. So it's a background color equals slight backdrop. Set up the top there. We're gonna go ahead, hide this for now, and say PT equals L, PX equals M, and PB equals M. There we have that. How's that look?
on the stream it looks not so great. Looking at your computer it looks okay. I would bump it up. Would you have it at 10%?
Mm-hmm.
Add it, try it at 25.
Colors. Let's try 20%. I think that's when it gets.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
But I can live with that for now.
All right. And what do we think about?
Rip.
No, it's fine.
Ship
Sometimes
it. Ship it.
that's just a dev environment. Not a problem. Okay, we go here. And vehicle ID, start. Awesome. So yeah, you're not even gonna see it here. Shuffle.
This is fine.
Shuffle. Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah, we'll finesse it. We can finesse it later.
All right.
Okay. Get all the way over to done on the right. And we've got this ready to mint. You need to connect a wallet.
Mm-hmm.
If I can do that button, change that connect wallet to connect a wallet to mint or connect wallet to mint.
Okay.
Because again, I want it to be clear why I'm connecting a wallet.
There you go.
Okay. Couple other weird things. Well, actually, before that, there's this who pays the gas fee.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call that who pays for minting.
All right. Who pays the?
Okay.
Who pays to mint?
No, who pays for minting.
Hmm.
Okay. I've got a weird thing on mine,
Mm-hmm.
which you are not getting on the emulator. I don't know if anyone can see this. I have kits and extras as black, just like stuck here when I'm over at done.
Nope, it's just you. I don't know what that's
If I
from.
go from extras to done, that doesn't happen. If I go from, this is weird. I don't know how to. I don't know how to replicate.
You broke it.
I'm trying every path. Let's just. Okay. Maybe it'll come up again. I don't know. Okay, that's me. Back to editing doesn't do anything.
Okay, back to editing. What do we want that to do? Let's
Just bump you over to scene.
like go back a page.
Yeah, no, just if I hit this, just take me back to scene.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, just get rid of it, right? But currently, it doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, I think we're gonna like redo this whole flow. Just no, not the whole flow.
Thanks.
No, no. I meant like, there's a lot going on in
Yeah.
this one spot.
Yes.
And I think we need to really separate out
Okay,
like
actually,
the
scrap-
customization.
Scrap this button altogether.
Cool, I like that. Let's get rid of stuff.
It's just kind of redundant.
There you go.
Okay, and then can we center that stuff within this? We I'll just take the. Okay, don't make it scrollable.
It's gonna be tough.
Don't make it
Tough.
scrollable.
It's gonna be tough.
I don't care.
But you're seeing this on a bigger phone. We have to be cognizant of like,
You shouldn't have to scroll on a little phone either. It's 2 lines of text and a button.
You'd be surprised I have a very little phone.
Yeah, run it on your phone and see what happens.
Oh, we'll see. All right. For that, maybe we'll get into the specifics later. What about?
Okay, please make a note. Please. Come on, buddy. No. Come on.
All right, I'm making a note. I'm not happy about the note though. I get to reserve the right to be unhappy. Center this better. All right. Can we just add some space here now?
Yes,
Let's do that.
add some top padding to
Ready to mint, okay.
Yes, between the
Orange
bar
on
and ready
top.
to mint.
Cool. We're down.
Wizard.
All right. Now, what about between? You know, like
Nope,
this.
good. It's good.
The
This
rest
is
of it's
fine.
good?
That's fine.
Then
That's
I'll
all.
add a little more.
No, it's all
I'm
fine.
feeling generous. I'm feeling very generous. There it is.
All right,
We
good.
faked
Done.
the center rate.
Add to cart. Okay.
Alright.
That was my list of notes.
Cool.
On...
maybe we can watch you work now.
Oh, you want to watch me work? Okay.
Okay.
All
right.
I've got a little animation for you if you want to put something fun together.
Yeah. Well, maybe. We'll see.
It's this one. We talked about it yesterday.
Okay, fair enough.
All
Let's
right.
see it.
You want to try it? Well, I haven't actually wired it up yet. Let me
Yep.
share my window. Okay. All right, you can see. So one of the things that we want to do is we're adding some sort of a bunch of like micro improvements to this whole process of selecting and favoriting a vehicle. People who are using the current app still probably haven't even been exposed to this, but we are introducing the concept of being able to favorite a vehicle, which would make it show up first in your lists. It would be when you open the app, it would default to that vehicle when you open it, and it's sort of your like, what's my most used car? If I've got like 15 cars in here, but really I drive one, we wanted to make it easy for, you know, for me to just like pick that one car. So we also, you know, when we do that, we go from, you know, a flow here or a screen here where we've got a list of all of our vehicles that we've got added to our app. If we tap this top right star icon, that gets us into a select favorite mode where we get this, you know, list of cars. We get to pick which one's our favorite. One of the micro improvements that we're thinking of doing here, or I am thinking of doing here, because I know it's gonna bug you, is when we tap on this star to kind of flash through a bunch of our brand colors as like a little, you know, you see this a lot on a lot of apps when you're like favoriting something or you're liking something. So this would be just really quick, you know, 2/10 of a second, just flash the colors and then settle back on our sort of gold status color.
I have a question.
Yeah. Level of priority, high.
No,
Impact high.
I was gonna say, how do I get
Effort.
this, how do I get the soundboard so I can, you know, play a little like wah wah wah.
Here, I'll play the soundboard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here.
If it claps.
Brilliant idea.
Oh geez.
Brilliant idea, Ben. Okay.
I have to think about how I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
I gotta be honest. Like, so part of the reason if this was like a native element for us, we could do this in a heartbeat because the animation libraries allow us to do something called interpolate colors. So we can give it like one hex and then the second hex, and it can actually do the nice blend between the two over whatever period we want. The issue with this is that this is actually some sort of an icon. So I have to see what we're gonna do. This is gonna be interesting.
Do you want to share your screen now?
I don't know if I want to share my screen. Let me Google. Programming 101 is knowing how to Google really well, guys. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna look into this just for a second. I'm gonna tell you if this is, oh, someone has this exact same thing.
Perfect.
All right, we're gonna try it their way.
All right. Stop sharing. Your turn. Pull it back
Can I
up.
get your power cable when I need some extra juice to do all the
You're
animations?
plugged in, aren't you?
No.
Go. Make the icon an SVG. It is.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna share. And let's do it. All right, you're gonna have to walk me through this a little bit. We're gonna open up that component, which is called Mission Control. Inside of here we have, all right, here's where we actually have our star. So let's look and see what that looks like, guys. We're gonna go ahead and open up this thing. We can see the stars here. If I change the color to say like our mint 400, we can see that there.
I'm watching it on the stream. It does not look as smooth as it actually is, but when that stuff all condenses, I promise that actually looks good.
Yeah. No, you guys should all go and play with the app yourself. Get a card connected on there, have some fun with it. All right, let's go to negative and see what that looks like. Let's go to positive. Cool. All right, now we need to be able to interpolate that, but one thing I have to do first is just check it out from here. Colors dot mint 400. All right, and then negative. Just double check. All right, so we can actually access that property, which means that I'm going to try to make this an animatable property. Okay, cool. Say const animated material const equals animated. Again, there's like this great library called React Native Reanimated. I think we've talked about it in a previous thing, but it lets us do animations at a very low level that's just really awesome. Let's see.
So the reason we do stuff like this, it's just sort of in that bucket. Like I said, it's sort of micro enhancements, like sort of a attention to detail kind of thing. There's more stuff like this that we're going to be doing just to make the app feel a lot more premium, and stuff like this goes a long way. And one of those things is haptics. Sort of tapping through when you switch tabs, getting a little click or a little vibration. Same thing if you're holding to unlock the vehicle, feeling like you're making an actual button press, and when you release, feeling like you've released a button press. There's stuff that we're shipping the sort of earliest version of what it is that we've built, but once we take a little session and go through and sort of wire a lot of that stuff up, I mean, in my opinion, the difference between having that stuff and not on identical looking products is, I mean, I find it significant, but I'm the guy that pays attention to this kind of stuff, so we'll have a good time with that. We'll do that in a future one.
All right. I'm trying to think about a really cool, kind of clever way I can do this. And I'm just going to spitball. For those of you out there who are actually good at programming, like myself, you probably have a much better way to do this, but I'm just going to play with something. First things first, we want to make sure that this thing works. So I'm going to do something right here. We're going to say that this is const color equals use shared value. We're going to keep it at 0. I'm going to say const animated icon color equals use animated style. We have to get some animated style, which is some special stuff. For those of you who have no idea what's going on, one thing to note about React Native is that it runs in this thing called a JavaScript core. So the language is and what's going on, whether it's Android or iOS, there's a special engine that runs JavaScript code, but that has to communicate with the native OS, and that runs separately. And part of the reason why you have multiple cores on a phone is so that things can kind of work in parallel really smoothly, and that's part of what's going on here. Anyway, for animations, what they try to do is they try to say, okay, we're going to keep all the JavaScript logic over here on one core, and we're going to keep all
the UI buttons and those other things on another, and that way we can just have sort of like a seamless experience. When we use things like this, we're basically crossing a bridge that's going to be mainly for optimization. So we don't use like the JavaScript engine to really change these logics here. Anyway, maybe I didn't do a good job. If you guys have questions afterwards, I'm happy to really go into depth more than this, but just know that like us going a little bit of the extra mile here adds a great deal of sort of user experience. All right, let's talk color here. Color, and I'm just going to go ahead and say colors.mint 400. We want to make sure that this works, and we're going to change the style out to
Yeah, I may
animate.
I may like do another run through like the actual colors.
Why wouldn't you? You know, like why wouldn't you? Just like why wouldn't you?
Well, set it up. Set it up. You need to just swap them out.
This guy.
All right.
Everybody loves working with me. I don't know what the problem is.
No comments. All right. We're gonna use that same use effect that we saw before. I'm gonna do something in a non-optimized way. We're gonna start here because we just want to make sure that this thing works, and then later on, once something works, we can really kind of get into it. But for now, I want to do something where I'm gonna just change this value back here to some random number. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're gonna go and say we're gonna do const random equals, we're gonna say sample, which is a low-dash function, and then range, which is also a low-dash function. We're just gonna generate 100 random numbers this way. There's probably a better way of doing this. I'm just going off the cusp here. And we're gonna go ahead and say that color dot value equals random. All right. Nope, this is definitely a number. TypeScript's being mad at us as number. This is for sure a number. We are good here. So it's just, it's more appropriate. All right. Now, how do I want to do this in a really nice way? We're
Why
just
did
gonna
our
go
size change on this? Why did our size change on this?
What do you mean?
The blanks, sort of the empties, are larger than the star. Why did that happen?
I think we somehow lost our border.
Weird.
And let me go ahead and hit cancel. Let's go back here. Yeah, we lost our border. We'll put it back in.
Okay, no, I just
It just got lost in the mix for a second there. Anyway, with this, we're going to do a quick modulo function. We're going to say color dot value modulo. Oops, where's my modulo function? Here. To. This is going to be true or false. So we're going to say here color dot negative. Let's go back between those two. So there's that. That. Sorry. You changing it all? No. You don't want to change. That's cool. I see what I have to do. Interpolate colors. Ooh, I gotta come back to this.
Yeah.
I know what I want to do, but I know I have to set this up totally different, and this is going to come another way. But let's just talk about what the work is going to be when it gets done. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say that we're currently at this color, and we currently want to go to another color, and we're just going to interpolate between the two of them. What I've got to actually do to set properly is this value here. It's just really going to go from a 0 to a 1, and whenever we change that, we're going to go ahead and use that sort of gradient change between 0 and 1 over some like 400 seconds or something like that to be our guide for that animation. So as it changes from 0 to 1, our color is going to go from say like that mint to that red. and then it'll pause, and we'll take a short break, and then we'll do that transition again. Pause and break, and then do the transition again. And that's really what we have to set up. There's some code that's going to be needed to make this work really well, and there's some things I got to think about to really kind of execute it there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this for now. We're going to go ahead and keep this out there as well. And one thing I can do for sure is just make sure that we have our border back in there. So
Yeah, I've just set it up here in Figma, so you can get. I'm playing with the timing, and I think the 100 milliseconds works pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull it up for you. Maybe a little longer. I would probably try 200 when you actually get into this. But that's flipping between how many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're basically our entire animation is going to take 1 second, and we're going to do 200 milliseconds per color, 5 colors, all the way back to where we started.
All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? I'm gonna have to redo this too, but instead of doing a quarter, what do I do? Okay.
I'll pull this up on mine so we can maybe illustrate exactly how this will work.
Cool.
Okay. Basically, I'll share mine real quick. When you
Mhm.
stop sharing it, I can share mine.
Yep, I'm gonna do that right now.
Okay. So, basically what we want to have happen here, I'm going to move this guy up and delete, well, actually, let's do this. Delete these guys. So when I tap on this, it should take me into this. That should happen instantly. So if I launch, that's not right. If I launch, oh no, you know why it's not right? It's because I was doing this in the wrong tab. I have a demo tab. Okay, get over there. If I do this, it should send me into this here. So let's go ahead and run this.
Yep.
See what happens. All right, so if I have Aaron's car, I go over here, I tap my favorite, gives me my little animation, finishes out on that.
okay.
So,
Do we want to like loop it?
no, I think you want to do it, you just do it once. It's just like a little, when we do haptics, this is going to be one of those things that you hit, you tap it, and you get like a little click, and the little thing spins, or does the flash through, and then it settles there.
Yeah, I think what we could do is, because we have like a set order, so is it like, how many milliseconds at each one?
That's 200, so it's a 1 second loop.
205 colors? Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to set that up as one total animation. I think
Mhm.
it's just kind of a common occurrence, and I want to say that the tooling within React Native Reanimated gives us like the ability to go ahead and do something like this super quickly and easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I mean, this is it. It's here I am, I'm looking at my list. Let's
Mm.
pretend I had a bunch of cars in here, you know. Actually, you know what, I'll give us a bunch of cars in here. Let me see, have I set this up well? I should have. Okay. And we have a vehicle, let's give me this one. Let's give me, drill all the way down. Let's give me a nice list of cars here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I get in and I'm like, well, which one do I want to pick? Obviously, it's Aaron's car. Tap that. I guess my others are going away because I didn't add the list to those other
Yeah.
artboards that we're animating from. But basically, that's what we're looking at.
I think we've got 4 minutes left. Let's talk about like why it's so important to have something cool like that. Like,
'Cause
other
it's
than
awesome.
no, it's gotta be something. Give it more. I think there's like a sense that happens when like an app is really well polished and really well thought out. That people look at them and they just know that there's more trust and security with the application than what meets the eye. I mean, we've all seen sort of enterprise-y apps or really like quickly done things. They don't give you the sort of response or the sort of confidence that you've completed something, or like something seems like really, really off, so it makes you question that other things are off. And what we really want to do is just inspire like a general sense of confidence within the application, to be able to say to users like, hey, if you trust us here because you got the right feedback, you will probably trust us in other information, in other ways, like, you know, storing your data correctly, or following up on actions that we say are being done, or things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's
It also looks awesome.
it does look awesome. we do want things to look awesome.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's cool. Do we have any questions? Like maybe we could answer in 3 minutes.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions for us or other stuff you want to see in terms of what we're working on, I mean, yeah, we have a few minutes. Drop it in the chat. I think everybody, I'm looking at Riverside right now. I'm not sure if there are people, Shaolin maybe can tell me if people are on other platforms where there's chat. I mean, it's not all coming in here, but I'm looking at Riverside right now. If anybody has anything.
Wait, do we have 26 chats?
Yeah, it's mostly Dylan.
Who's Beam Jackson?
It's Beam Jags.
Okay, there we go.
All right, I'll take that as no questions.
No, I think we're just doing everything right. That's what that means. There's just like, we're really good at explaining stuff.
Shut
Everything
up.
is looking really awesome. And yeah, no, we got it. We got
Okay.
it.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna go hop offline real quick, but
One last thing, I mean, we
Yeah.
should pitch it. So we're pushing out the new app today. And this has been something, guys, that we've been working on for the last 6 weeks, maybe even more.
yeah,
It's huge. It is going to be, if not already, the best connected vehicle app in the space.
I mean, humbly.
Yeah, no, I think we can be honest here. These guys know what's up.
Yeah.
So as soon as that hits the stores, guys, go check it out. We're gonna make the announcement. Get your stuff together. If you haven't connected a vehicle already, do so now, because it's totally worth it.
I agree. I agree with everything you said.
All right, guys. Well, we gotta pitch our work, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right, fellas. We're leaving you here.
All right. Everybody, we'll talk to you later. As always, hit us up on the Discord if there's more stuff you want to see, and we will be back here next week.
All right, guys. Later.
Bye.